I set the gift box on my lap and held my boarding pass in both hands. Vanessa barely slowed as she passed the security line. Her lipstick, perfect heels, clicking sunglasses still on indoors. "Wait in the VIP lounge, Miriam," she said, waving like I was some concierge. "I'll come back after check-in." Then gone. I walked to the lounge, sat down, smiled politely at the attendant, said I was waiting, didn't order coffee. 1 hour passed. I didn't check the time. I just looked at the door. 2 hours. A family came and went. A child waved. I waved back. 3 hours. I shifted in the chair. My hand stayed wrapped around the suitcase handle. It left a red mark in my palm. 4 hours. A man asked if I needed help. I said no, thank you. 5. The gift box slipped and bumped my knee. I picked it up, straightened the ribbon. 6. The attendant brought me water. I thanked her. 7. I finally let go of the suitcase. The dent in my hand stayed. 8. I didn't speak. I didn't cry. I just opened my purse. The phone was there. So was the envelope creased at the corner, sealed weeks ago, labeled in red ink. Backstop. Paris. I pulled it out, looked at it, then tucked it back in. I took out my phone. No missed calls. No texts. Just the background photo of my grandson when he was 9, holding a wooden sword missing a tooth. I unlocked the screen, found the first number, pressed call, waited. When the voice answered, I said, "It's me. Do it." Hung up. Second number. Proceed. Third number. Send everything. I didn't explain. Behind me, a flight was called over the speaker. Paris. I stood, smoothed my jacket, picked up the gift box, didn't look back, walked slowly past the coffee machine and out of the lounge. The trash bin stood by the glass door. I dropped the wedding invitation inside, face down. I didn't miss my flight. I never intended to board it. My fingers tightened around the phone. The screen still warm, the number still visible. The next call was already waiting. I walked to the far end of the terminal and found a bench where no one sat. Unlocked my phone. Scrolled to the pinned contacts. Pressed the first name. It rang once. "Harvey, it's Miriam." He didn't need context. I said, "Put the hold in place. Not just the transfers. The authorization too." He paused. "All of it." "Yes." He started to speak again. I hung up. Second number. Hotel Montregard, Paris. My contact was Laurent. He answered in French. I didn't respond to his greeting, just spoke straight. "Cancel room 811 under their name. Keep the suite under mine. Confirm via email." He hesitated. "Madame Halden, that room is part of their bridal." "I paid for the building," I said, flatly. "Keep it under my name." He said yes. I ended the call. My hands weren't shaking, not even my breath. Third number. Claire. She picked up fast. No hello, just a sharp, "Is it time?" "Yes," I said. I could hear her scribbling something, probably finding the envelope she kept ready. "I want you to send it. Overnight. Everything. Don't open it. Don't delay." She didn't ask why. We'd already had that conversation months ago, back when I wasn't sure if Vanessa was careless or cruel. Now I knew. Use the copy with the highlighted clause and send the screenshot too. Claire said to Ethan. No, to me. When I ended that call, my thumb stayed on the red button for a second too long. Then I set the phone down on my lap like I was closing a box I never wanted to open again. I stood, picked up the envelope they mailed me. Heavy cardstock, gold foil edges. My address typed. No name inside. Just, "Dear valued guest." Not Mom, not Miriam, not even Grandma. I walked to the coffee counter. The trash bin sat beside it. I dropped the invitation in without slowing. The barista glanced up. I nodded once. She didn't say anything. I walked past the gate. The Paris flight blinked final call. My seat was still technically reserved. I kept walking past the gate toward the doors where my suitcase waited. I flipped through the folder page by page while Vanessa scrolled on her tablet. Ethan sat beside her, nodding along, distracted. "Here's the seating for the dinner," she said, tilting the screen toward me. "It's mostly locked in, but let us know if you see any issues." I leaned forward. Names were color-coded. Family in bold blue. Friends in pale gray. Contributors in dull beige. I scanned the list. Under contributors, 3 names. Mine was one of them. I didn't say a word, just stared at the screen, then glanced at Ethan. He didn't notice. I placed a finger gently over my name, traced the edge of the beige box. My throat felt dry. Not from emotion, from knowing. She had done it deliberately. Vanessa tapped again. "Oh, and we put you near the restrooms, in case you need to step out during the reception." I nodded. "Smart," I said. My voice didn't crack, it didn't rise. I smiled faintly, took out my phone under the table, tilted the screen just right, snapped one photo. No sound. No flash. Then I closed the folder and pushed it back toward her. "It all looks fine." Ethan looked up. "You're okay with it, Mom." I touched his wrist briefly. "You've got a lot on your plate. I don't want to add more." He smiled. Vanessa looked satisfied. She thought I'd accepted it. I had not. That night, I sat on the edge of my bed and unpacked the velvet pouch holding my pearl earrings. The ones Vanessa once complimented, asking, "Will you wear those to Paris?" I placed them back in the drawer. Instead, I chose a plain pair. Silver, unpolished. Then I opened my suitcase, took out the dress I planned to wear, folded it gently, put it back in the closet, swapped it for something darker, something that didn't invite conversation. I opened my packing list, crossed out 4 items, wrote 3 new ones, my handwriting small, tight. The photo of the seating chart stayed in a folder on my phone, renamed, backed up, time-stamped. I didn't delete it, didn't share it, just saved it. Then I turned out the light and let the dark tell me what they wouldn't. I signed in at the bank with my usual pen. The teller smiled, called my name, led me to the desk by the window. Vanessa stayed in the car. I could see her through the glass, head down, thumbs, moving little bursts of color flashing on her screen. "This will be quick," she'd said. "Just vendor payments." The banker reviewed the form, then paused. "Mrs. Halden," she said carefully, "you're transferring $47,300. To a personal account." I met her eyes. "Yes." She looked down again. "Not a business account. Not escrow." "Yes." She nodded, but her fingers hesitated over the keyboard. "Normally, for an amount like this, we advise." "I know," I said. "Proceed." She slid the paper toward me. I read every line. Slowly. I signed where required, not where it wasn't. When she handed me the receipt, I folded it once, then again, small, precise. Outside, Vanessa looked up and smiled when she saw me. Wide. Easy. She didn't ask what the banker said. She didn't ask if everything went through. She already assumed it had. In the car she talked. About Paris traffic. About flowers. About how stressful planning had been. I watched the road. Didn't answer. At a red light she glanced at me. "You okay?" "Yes," I said. My voice was steady. My hands rested in my lap. The folded receipt pressed against my palm. At home, I placed the receipt on the kitchen counter, unfolded it, smoothed it flat. Across the bottom, in small print, temporary hold requested. I hadn't signed the final authorization. I never did when the destination felt wrong. That night, my phone buzzed. "Vanessa, we're so lucky to have your help. Ethan and I really appreciate it." I stared at the message, then turned the phone face down. I placed the receipt inside the envelope in my purse, the one labeled Backstop, Paris. Slid it behind the other papers. Lined the edges. I poured myself a cup of coffee. Let it sit untouched while the house went quiet. In the reflection of the dark window, I barely recognized my own face. Not tired, not angry, just finished waiting. I picked up my phone again and opened my contacts, scrolling until I found the name I'd been careful not to use too soon. I locked the door behind me, dropped my purse on the table, took off my shoes, walked straight to the drawer beneath the old phone charger and pulled out the envelope. Backstop, Paris. I sat down at the kitchen table, laid the envelope flat, and opened it. First, the hotel contract. 2 copies, both under my name. My signature already printed, not penned, dated months ago. I paid for the ballroom, the suites, the security deposit, every cent. Not a word from them since. Next, receipts. Dozens. Catering, music, transportation, all tied to my accounts. Vanessa had asked for them piecemeal, one charge at a time, always urgent, always flattering. Then the screenshots. Claire had sent them. Vanessa's texts to someone else. She's basically my personal ATM. Old women are useful for checks and quiet exits. My thumb paused over that line. Quiet exits. I didn't flinch, just breathed in, deep. Once. Let it out slow. Folded the papers, sharper this time. Each edge lined up. Grief creased tighter than paper. Last inside the envelope, another document. Cream paper, blue notary seal. The addendum to my will, unsigned, still. It named someone else as beneficiary, just in case. I looked at it for a long time, not to second guess, just to confirm I still meant it. I placed everything back inside, smoothed the flap closed, then stood, walked to the bedroom, pulled down my suitcase, tucked the envelope under the first layer of clothes, zipped it shut. In the kitchen, I started the coffee pot, measured grounds, filled water. No rush. The machine hummed. I leaned against the counter. My hand rested flat. Not clenched. Not cold. Across the room, my phone buzzed again. I didn't check it. Whatever they needed could wait now. Outside, a neighbor's car pulled in. A child laughed. Normal sounds, the kind that don't need explanations. The kind that keep going with or without you. The pot clicked off. I poured a cup. Let it steam. Let it sit. When I picked it up, my hand was still, for the first time in weeks. I turned off the light, walked to the table and opened the small leather folder, where I kept only 3 names. I called her just after noon. The line rang twice before Vanessa picked up her voice tight. "Hello, hi, sweetheart," I said brightly. "Just wanted to say I'm so sorry I missed the flight. Complete mess. My fault entirely." She paused. "Oh, are you okay?" "Just a little mix-up. I didn't want to stress you out on your big day." A beat of silence. Then she softened. "Well, yeah, it was hectic. You know how airports are." "Of course," I said. "But if it's still helpful, I'd love to cover the backup hotel like we discussed. No reason to let the plans fall through." "Oh, Miriam, thank you." Her voice jumped an octave. "That would really help. I'll text you the room details now. You're amazing." I smiled as she kept talking. Thank yous. Praise. None of it real. When I hung up, I didn't replay the call. I didn't need to. I just deleted the recording. Proof wasn't the point. Hearing the lie with my own ears, that was enough. Then I opened my messages and typed one line to the hotel contact cancel authorization for room 8111. Retain reservation under Halden only. No explanation, no follow-up. I set the phone down, went to the kitchen, took out the coffee tin from the second shelf, the one with the dented side and faded label, opened it, found a folded paper and added a new slip, wrote one name, then another. Clean ink, no hesitation. Folded the paper tight and slipped it inside. That night, I sat with my coffee by the window. Didn't turn on the light. The street outside buzzed quietly, cars passing, a couple walking their dog. The kind of calm you don't notice until you've been somewhere loud. Somewhere like 8 hours in a lounge staring at a door that never opened. I looked down at my cup. It had cooled, but I drank it anyway. Bitterness didn't bother me now. I opened my planner, drew a line through Friday, wrote one word across it, ready. Then I pulled the envelope out of the suitcase again and laid it flat beside the folded paper. I opened the door before she knocked. Claire stood there, same dark coat from years ago, same steady eyes. She didn't smile, just stepped inside and held out the folder. Here, she said. I didn't read everything, just confirmed the contents. I nodded and locked the door behind her. We sat at the kitchen table. No coffee, no small talk. She placed the folder between us. Her fingers rested on top, just for a second. I owed you, she said. You helped my mom. She remembered that. Said you were the kind of woman who waits but doesn't forget. I didn't answer. I let her speak. She told me once, the quiet ones keep better records. I figured you'd know what to do with this. I reached for the folder, pressed my palm against it, held it there, felt the weight. Not heavy, but final. Then I opened it. The first page, a name I recognized, but not as Vanessa. Her legal name still tied to another man. Marriage certificate. Unresolved, not dissolved. Next court notices. Missed payments. Consumer debt. A defaulted loan. Her application for name change unfiled. None of it a surprise. But the paper made it real. Claire didn't flinch. You didn't deserve what she did. I know, I said. You still planning to go to Paris? I met her eyes. Yes, just not the way they expect. She nodded, once stood and didn't say goodbye. Just walked to the door and let herself out. I waited until I heard the building door close downstairs before moving. Then I took the folder to my bedroom, opened the suitcase. The envelope was still there, tucked beneath my clothes beside the folded paper from the tin. I slid the new folder next to them. Both fit without forcing. Then I zipped the suitcase slowly, tooth by tooth. No rush. I stood up straight, stretched once, walked to the kitchen, poured the last of the coffee, and drank it cold. My hand didn't tremble, not from rage, not from nerves, just still. I rinsed the cup, set it on the rack, and picked up the phone to book a flight. Not for the wedding, for the timing. I stepped through the side entrance of the hotel ballroom. No one looked at me. That was the plan. White and gold everywhere, chandeliers, velvet chairs, napkins folded like swans. They'd spent what they never earned. Vanessa stood center stage, glass raised spotlight soft on her bare shoulders. We want to thank everyone who made this day possible, she said, beaming. Our friends, our new family, those who supported us. The guests clapped. Cameras flashed. She didn't say my name, didn't glance toward the corner where I sat, behind a marble column, holding a paper cup of hotel coffee. Cold, bitter, untouched. She moved on, introduced the first course, giggled into the mic, called Ethan her forever. Then the servers began to move. Plates clinked. Music swelled low. Ethan reached for his phone. He looked down, read the message, ask her who Leon is. He froze. Fork halfway to the plate. He looked up at Vanessa, stared, didn't blink. She laughed at first, then saw his face, what she mouthed. He stood, quietly, firmly. Who's Leon? The microphone picked it up. It echoed. Forks stopped. So did the music. She stared at him. Ethan, don't answer me. A silence fell so hard it broke the room. She turned red, then pale, then bolted. She didn't even take her clutch. He didn't follow. No one clapped. No one joked. I stayed seated. I didn't move. Just lifted the cup. Took a sip. Cold? Still bitter? Still mine? I'd booked the room under my name, reserved the suite before they had even finalized the florist. Everything they walked through, I'd paid for. They thought I stayed behind. They didn't think I watched. I sent one message. Not a threat, just a reminder. One word Ethan had asked me about years ago. One he had quietly saved. Now he remembered. Now he understood. He stood still. People turned toward him unsure. I stayed in my corner. The staff looked confused. A waiter set down a plate, then picked it back up. No music, just chairs shifting, glasses untouched, and me watching them try to continue while everything underneath had already cracked. Ethan walked out. No one followed. I turned off my phone on the flight home. No alerts. No vibrations. No interruptions. When I landed in Texas, I didn't rush. I let the others stand first. Watch them scramble for overhead bags pushing past each other to be first in line for nothing. I waited. Rolled my suitcase out last. No one met me at the gate. No one was supposed to. At home, I placed the suitcase in the front closet. Didn't unpack the clothes. Didn't need to. I opened the side zipper and pulled out one thing. The small folded paper from the coffee tin. It was soft now. Corners, rounded edges worn from travel. I sat at the kitchen table, unfolded it slowly. 2 names were crossed out. One in thick black ink. The other in careful, even lines. Below them in clean handwriting, Claire. I didn't smile. But something in my chest eased just slightly, like a thread cut loose. The phone buzzed once. I let it sit. Vanessa had called 5 times. I didn't need to hear what she said. The hotel had reversed the charges. The backup suite no longer existed. The staff had been instructed clearly. No exceptions. No extensions. Ethan hadn't responded to her. I knew because he wouldn't. Not yet. The lies had finally outrun her. She had nowhere to land. Another buzz. Another missed call. I turned the phone face down again. I poured myself coffee. No cream, no sugar. Carried the mug outside to the patio. Sat in the chair by the window, the one with the crooked armrest worn smooth from years of elbows and waiting. The sun was steady. The air warm. Not like Paris, no marble, no velvet, no orchestra waiting to start. Just quiet. Just mine. I sipped once. It burned, but I didn't flinch. My suitcase stayed closed. My door stayed locked. And my chair didn't need an invitation. I reached for the pot before it finished brewing. Poured slow, no rush. The first drop landed clean in the center of the cup. No splash. No spill. Steam rose. I watched it curl, drift, vanish. I pulled out one chair. My chair. Sat down. Placed the cup just so beside the small spoon I never used. Light came through the kitchen window, soft but full. It hit the edge of the counter, then crept toward me. I didn't move. On the counter, the envelope. Backstop. Paris. Open. Flat. Empty. Now. I hadn't thrown it away. Just left it there in case I ever needed a reminder of how close I'd come. But I didn't need it anymore. I took a breath. Deep. Even. Lifted the cup. Steady hand. No trembling. The coffee was strong. Dark. I let it sit on my tongue before swallowing. Everything they'd tried to take voice, place, name they hadn't earned. And now they'd stopped trying. The phone stayed off. The messages stayed unread. Some things don't need answers. I looked around the room. Nothing fancy. Nothing new, but it was mine. The kind of space where silence didn't ache, it filled. I sipped again, slower this time. The mug warmed both hands. Not out of need, just choice. The chair creaked gently under me. I let it. The light touched the rim of my cup. Just a glint, a flicker, no ceremony. Just enough. I didn't reach for the folder. I didn't call anyone back. I just sat. and let the warmth hold its shape.